Everton host West Ham this weekend as the Premier League returns after the snooze fest of a nation's international break. Manuel Pellegrini is under massive pressure after playing 4, losing 4, and he takes his West Ham side to Goodison Park to face an Everton side who are missing quite a few players. Anyway, welcome back to Irons United's YouTube channel. I'm Anton, of course. I'm joined by Luke, who you all are familiar with. And of course, to my left, you will see that we're joined by another opposition fan. And I'm going to pass over to you, Paul. Paul, just introduce yourself, let them know where you're from, and just go from there.
First off, I want to say thanks for having us on. I'm Paul from the Falcon Blues TV. We're an Everton fan channel. We're quite light-hearted. You've got to laugh about Everton because it's sometimes, as you might know yourselves, lads, it's hard watching Everton sometimes. But you can find us on YouTube at Falcon Blues TV. You can find us on Twitter at Falcon Blues TV, Instagram and Facebook. We talk about Everton. We joke about Everton. We call Sam Allardyce a brown sauce muncher. That kind of thing. Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll make sure we'll get everyone's links in the descriptions below, but just make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you are an Everton fan, and if you're an Everton fan, make sure you probably don't want to subscribe to our channel, but just watch the video, hit up the thumbs up. We'll do the same for all you guys for your previous shows.
Listen, we all help each other.
Yeah.
All subscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Up step West Ham. West Ham travel to Goodison Park. Paul, before we do that, give me your brief rundown on the start for Everton this season with your new management setup.
It's been a bit of a mixed bag. Everyone's really happy that we're now playing more attacking football, because under Gravy Guzzler it got really negative, and it was a bit of a struggle to go the game last season, and I've never felt like that. But we're conceding too many goals. All the goals seem to be coming from set pieces, so I really hope that Andy Carroll's not fit, because he's got a record of scoring past us for every team he's played for.
Don't make us laugh, mate.
Honestly, he's I kind of like Andy Carroll. I know he's had a bad injury record, but he always reminded me of Duncan Ferguson. They're both like 6 foot odd, target men, left-footed, and they've both got injury problems. I think they both like to have a bevy back in the day as well. Maybe Andy Carroll gets called Shandy Carroll. I've heard that mentioned a few times. But the season so far, we've got, like you said, we've got a lot of injuries. The good sign is we've not seen really any of the new players besides Richarlison, who's looking really good. I mean, Paul Mason said that we ruined the transfer market by getting him. Yeah, don't you look like a knobhead now, Paul? We're missing him. Obviously, he's suspended. Yerry Mina's out. Gomez is out. We've got a big injury list. But you know what? Everyone gets injuries. I hate hearing when we've got this player injured. Well, so what? Get on with it. There's 11 players who are going on the pitch.
And on that, Paul, I mean, that's something that as West Ham fans we know, because we've had probably one of the worst injury records over the last, 3 or 4 seasons, Luke? And I mean, and combat back to what you've just mentioned about the injuries, is that not the most perfect time that Everton can play West Ham? For Everton's benefit, because most teams would look at a side like Everton who have lost 12 of their main players and think, we're gonna go for it. But you're coming up against West Ham, played 4, lost 4. Look, what are your thoughts on the fact that Everton have 12 injuries to really important players? Is that going to have an effect on them?
Look, right now, Everton could put out the youth team and they're still doing about 4 or 5-0 the way things are going. But yeah, I must admit, I did, after hearing all that news about injuries today, it does make it a bit more of a, I'm not going to say an easier task, but I'm going to say it does, lessen the fear of, I think a fully fit Everton team, the way they've been this season under Silva, or even a half-fit Everton team, could easily, take on probably any team in the league. And us being bottom of the league in the way we are, it wouldn't have been great, but that is at least something that we can prepare ourselves for and say, well, look, that's less of an excuse now. If we can't, we can just go out there and play maybe a bit more with less fear and take it to them a bit more. But look, this is West Ham. You could have a full team or a shit team, and you could still turn us over. And I'm not confident at all of West Ham at the minute. So it's slightly better. But
Paul, you mentioned I mentioned earlier on. Well, I don't know if I did actually, but Everton are unbeaten this season. Is that something at the beginning of the season you would have taken? 6 points from the 4 games, 3 draws, 1 win. Is it? I mean,
no. It's a positive that we're unbeaten, but we've also dropped a lot of points, especially last week at home to Huddersfield. which when we got the fixture list, to be honest, all Evertonians were made up because the first couple of sets of fixtures looked all right. You know, on paper they look good because last season we had like Chelsea away, United away, Spurs away in the first 6 fixtures. But I don't know, to be honest. Like, I don't mean to sound negative, but I'm happy with the way we're playing. I think we've been a bit unlucky with a few referee decisions. I think every team says that, don't they? But my thoughts on the game, a lot of people are like, oh, well, this is the best time to play West Ham. I disagree. You're going into this game wanting a result. They need the result. And I think it's going to be a real tough game. I really do. And to be honest, at the start of the season, before it started, I actually said, I think West Ham are going to have a good season. They've signed a couple of good players, like Wilshere on a free. Yarmolenko, mate, is a really good player. He knocked Everton out of the Europa League a few years ago, single-handedly scored 2 belters. And we were getting linked to him under Martinez before he got the boot. And I was really like, oh, get him, because he was at Dortmund last year. Didn't work out there, but I think he'll come good for West Ham. Good player.
And Paul, I think that's good. I mean, that's good. I mean, Yarmolenko, for your kind of knowledge on West Ham, he's not started any games for us yet this season except for the League Cup. He's been coming off the bench, and in my opinion, he's been showing some glimpses of absolute, quality. Although we did, myself and Luke, watch the game, done a live watch back of the League Cup, and yeah, he was producing really, really good stuff, but he never had the end product. But maybe that's down to the lack of game time. On players like Yarmolenko, Luke, is this the prime opportunity now to give him the start, or where do you see Pellegrini going with this? I mean, we've had an international break. We've had 4 players involved in the international break, Snodgrass as well. Is Snodgrass going to keep his place, or is it time now? Because I mean, Yarmolenko has scored a goal, played 2 games, started both games, and scored the winning goal for Ukraine during the international break.
Yeah, it kind of has to be honest with you. If you can't get into the team when we're at the dog's end like we are now, it doesn't look too good for you. I mean, people are calling for players like Rice to come in, some others. So if he can't get in when he's meant to be one of the most creative sparks we've got in the team, then it does seem a bit worrying. No offence to Snodgrass, he's tried his best since he's come in. He's not had a particularly bad game in the games he's played in. But I think the general consensus was he was going to take the international break off to try and cement his place in the team. But I think he still went. Didn't he still go to Scotland in the end? Because Pellegrini told him that he weren't going to get much game time anyway, to take advantage. So that tells you that he's not going to get in very much unless Antonio plays on the right hand side or something along them lines. Yarmolenko's bound to start. He's, like you said, he's in good form with Ukraine. He'll take that confidence into the league game. But if he's not going to start, it kind of has to, because for confidence as well. You're away from home. You haven't got that sort of pressure of the home fans on you. Maybe the first start you get. So I think Yarmolenko will probably start this Sunday. Yeah.
And Paul, it's obviously been publicly announced that Everton are going to be struggling, missing 12 first-team players. Who does that actually leave you? I mean, as an opposition fan looking in, what is the depth in your squad like? What do you potentially see your lineup like coming on the weekend on Sunday?
I think Everton needs to use. I always say this, that the players that are going to come in, they should use this opportunity to stamp the foot down and be like, I want to start. Obviously, we've got Ademola Lookman, who's probably going to have to start. Cenk Tosun will play up front. We've still got the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson. It's a question whether Walcott is a doubt. Now, I'll be really gutted because, to be honest, since Walcott's come, he's done really well. He's looking sharp. But again, he's one of those players who can have injury problems. And we've only seen a little bit of it at Everton. But every time he goes down, I always think, he's going to be out for a few months here, isn't he? But there's a couple of good young players that we've got coming in as well. There's a lad called Fraser Hornby, and he scored 5 in 2 games for Scotland's under-21s. He's 6'4" or something. He's left-footed. Sounds like Duncan Ferguson replacement, you know what I mean? Like a Duncan Ferguson clone. But Duncan's been working close with him, so he's probably going to have to go on the bench. It's one of them. We've got Bernard. He's like maybe on the bench, because that's the problem. Your West Ham players are probably having the same problem that the Everton ones are, the ones that are signed. Some of them aren't fully fit. They haven't had a proper pre-season. So we're not going to see the best of these players probably till like mid-November.
Well, you've mentioned one player there, and there's no point in us trying to breeze over it ever so slightly, but a player we were linked to in the summer, really closely linked to, and that is the player you named, Bernard. Look, Is this another one of these games, another one of these players that it's inevitable that whether he starts, comes on as a sub, he's going to do some damage to West Ham. Is it written in the stars for players like that? Is it written in the stars for West Ham just to constantly be that team?
Yeah, it's a short answer. Put it this way, I never normally put a bet against West Ham at all. I know people say it's logical because if you lose, you get a bit of money back for it and whatever, you can drain your sorrows and all the rest of it. But I am kind of genuinely thinking about putting a bet on Burnley scoring against us because we're terrible at the minute. It'd be nice to get a little return back myself. And the ironic thing is that with all these players out for Everton, we're going to go, well, probably there's not one particular player we've got to look out for. I guarantee he sneaks in and scores a tap in or a 40-yard screamer, but he's bound to score either way. So I'm now starting to get a bit worried now. Cheers for that, Ant. Yeah, cheers for that, Paulie. I'm a bit worried now. Yeah, the arse is wobbling a little bit now.
It's all right, mate. I personally think Yarmolenko's going to score past Everton, so I might throw a bet on him because we were getting linked to him a few years ago, so it's one of them.
When it comes to Everton and obviously your new manager, Silva, what are your impressions and thoughts on Silva at Everton? Has he changed a lot of things?
Yeah, he has. Just the whole atmosphere at the ground's a lot better now. Last season under Allardyce, it become really toxic at times, you know what I mean? It just become very negative. And I'm never one to boo my own team or anything like that. I don't like that. So there is a good atmosphere back at Goodison for the change, probably since like Martinez's first season, because after that, it's sort of been like up and down, up and down. To be honest, all Everton wants is a good cup run. That's what we want. We want to try and get our hands on a trophy. It's been too long. I'm sure a lot of fans are feeling that way as well. But I personally think West Ham is suffering a bit like Everton were last season, where he's brought a lot of players in like we did last season. And it takes time for these players to gel, you know what I mean? Because I do think West Ham are going to be all right. The way like people are going, they're going down. No, they're not. Like, look at Crystal Palace last season. They lost the first 7. And they ended up having a really good finish to the season. But Pellegrini's a good manager. The problem I could see is because the next couple of fixtures for West Ham are quite tough away games. I think it was like United and stuff like that coming up. But that's the perfect game to turn things around, the way I look at it. But it's also like, if it did become a relegation battle, has Pellegrini ever handled anything like that before? It's usually just been used to top 4 challenges or title challenges and stuff like that.
I mean, to be fair to Pellegrini though, Paul, I mean, when he took over at Malaga, they were a probably below mid-table team, and he transformed them into, for a while when he was there, a top four side. Yeah. But if you look at his stats of when he first started at Malaga, they were not fantastic at all whatsoever.
No.
And his body language was very, very similar to what he's doing. And it's honestly like he sits back and he just absolutely watches everything. And it's a bit like he's playing a really dangerous game, but he knows what he's doing. He's playing the long game. He's not playing the short game. He's not thinking of the short-term results. He's thinking of the long-term gain of West Ham. And when you look at his body language on the park or on the sidelines, it's like he's sitting there watching, right, no, I'm going to give him one more chance. I'm going to give him another one more chance. And now I feel like this is, I mean, I don't know. If, look, you mentioned it, Snodgrass wore his heart on his sleeve. He's put in he's put in the effort of performances that West Ham look for. But with the money that has been spent and the league does progress, and all the clubs need to progress, we need to look at that quality of player. And I just don't think Snodgrass is offering anything except for effort, which as West Ham fans we talk about, that's all we want. But if you give us effort but don't have ability, then, that's going to have a bit of a knock-on effect. I think if we look on Sunday and we see players like Snodgrass and Antonio starting, then I'm going to start like the next 3 or 4 games. If that's a continuation, that's when I will start to worry, when we've got players like Yarmolenko on the bench. And we've got, I think I put a comment in our group chat today. I was listening to TalkSport, or what are they called? I'm not even going to give them the dodgy name. I can't even remember the dodgy name I used to call them. Anyway, they were stating that why do clubs play with one up front these days when you've got 2 players potentially got the ability to score goals? And in the nicest way possible, Paul, Everton have got 12 players missing. West Ham are in desperate need of a win. Why don't we go out there all out and attack and put Hernandez and put Arnautovic up top when they're crying out for it? What are your thoughts on that, Luke? Oh, sorry, Paul.
I was just going to say, I didn't mean to jump in, but I agree, especially when you said why do teams play one up front. Does my head in. Last home game we played Huddersfield and drew 1-1, and we're playing one up front. It's Huddersfield. No disrespect to Huddersfield, but you don't need 2 holding midfielders there. Go 2 up front. Just have a go. Remember the good old days when it was 4-4-2?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly enjoyed watching football a lot more then.
Yeah. And you think to yourself in that game, I suppose, that you got a point, but if you'd have got beaten trying, would you have taken a less of a point on Saturday past? There's a good one for you.
Do you know what? I would. I'd rather see us have a go and try and win.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we weren't. It's just in that game, Huddersfield would.
They were there for the taking. Yeah, they were there for the taking.
Yeah.
Look, what are your thoughts on what I said?
Yeah, I realised that it happened years ago. I think the first sort of team to sort of play that way was Barcelona when Messi was doing bits for and everyone tried to copy that false number 9, false 10 sort of role when it was wingers cutting in from the wing, it wasn't just simple crossing to the box. It was they were cutting in on their outside foot and bending balls in. But you look at most top European teams, and most top European teams play that way as well. I don't think you can name nowadays many teams that do play two up front. So I think it's like a general consensus of teams now that because the midfield battle is so huge, they just try and pack that midfield with as many players as they can, just to the point now where teams are more or less playing 3 at the back as well. So it's not just a sort of standard set two up front. It's like, okay, well, how was the rest of the team going to combat that? And unfortunately, as Anton has made a massive effort of trying to tell everyone, including myself as well, we've got a player on our team called obviously Hernandez, who everyone knows what his game is. He's a fox in the box, and he loves to be in the box and get tap-ins and here and everywhere. Now, the modern game doesn't particularly suit a player of his stature. Nowadays you've got the guy up front who holds the ball up and lets the wingers go in or the attacking midfielders go in. Entertainment-wise, yeah, it'd be fantastic to sit up front. Working off each other, the partnerships working. Both wingers pinging balls into the box for score goals. But unfortunately, there's too much panicness over, well, if you lose it up front, who's going to cover in midfield? Who's going to take over the defence? So it's that kind of thing where I think if you're going to play up front, A, you've got to be ballsy, and B, you've got to have some backup or support in that midfield on the wings and in defence to go. But you know what? We can let the two go up front and score goals because we'll be supplying them with endless service. Like Man City have been trying to work out with Aguero and Jesus for last couple of years and whatever. So yeah, personally, entertainment-wise, I can see why you'd want it back, but I can also see why teams do just stick with the one up front and just try and get as much midfield. I think it's more about the midfield nowadays than it is up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we touch slightly then before we go on to predictions, team lineups, some players to talk about in particular is obviously West Ham have conceded quite a few goals, but that's not been at fault for Fabianski, because Fabianski has been phenomenal since he has arrived in the 4 games that he's played.
I've seen some of the highlights on match today.
Yeah,
good keeper anyway.
Yeah,
was.
The funny thing about that is, I'll just quickly say this. I don't think the highlights do him justice. I think he's been better than that. There's a lot of saves you probably don't see that are very simple saves, but a lot of goalkeepers we've had in the past wouldn't even made them. So, I've seen highlights like yourself, Paulie, but I think he's actually not being the credit is even for them ones as well.
I read a lot of comments and some people describing him as like exquisite interventions, and it really is. Like it's not like they're just like balls coming at him, they're fingertip saves, and he's got that ability to get across the goal from any angle, and he can dive down to his left, he can dive down to his right, he can do it. And to be honest, we would have conceded a hell of a lot more goals if it wasn't for him in there, and I'm feeling a lot more secure with Fabianski in the back line. It's just a case of obviously setting up as a defensive unit. One other comment I want to make was on Creswell. I think Creswell came out and said that the morale is low in the squad, which I don't think is a great thing to come out in the public and say. Will that have an effect on him starting potentially at the weekend, Luke?
No, because I think he's going to start regardless, because of the fact that he's the only natural left back we've got at the club. Obviously, in my opinion, Masvidal is much better as a left winger. But it's quite funny you say that, because I was listening to a certain podcast today, and a certain in the know guy was saying that apparently the morale around the club is kind of good. Actually, everyone's really motivated and really getting their heads down and trying to get a good work ethic going. So you saying that completely shoots that to bits. If Creswell himself is saying that, in a way, I'll quickly say this. In a way, I kind of prefer it. At least it's some honesty.
Yeah.
From a player to say, no, we're not good. This isn't a generic little post on social media to try and keep the fans happy and quiet them down or whatever. It's actually saying, no, do you know what? We're actually a bit pissed off because we're not happy. And part of me thinks, you know what? Man up and get on with it. You're on enough money a week to sort yourselves out. But at least they're not hearing the same old generic boring. No, we're fine. We'll turn it around. Just need the fan support. Do you know what? no, we are actually in shit. We actually are. Do feel like we're in shit, and we're not good. So it's not great to hear, but at least it's some honesty for once. You know what I mean?
Of course. Paul, as an Everton fan, 2 questions for you. Who's the man we need to watch on your side, and who do you, looking in, worry about on the West Ham side?
I would have said Richarlison, but he's banned. I'd go for Gylfi Sigurdsson. There was a thing on Sky Sports the other day saying he's struggling. What? I don't know what they've been watching this season, because like he's been playing out of his skin. And it was funny that you'd mentioned about Match of the Day not showing all the highlights. They edit so much of Everton stuff out. Against Southampton, we had a goal wrongly disallowed for offside. They didn't even show it. Like, it was just like one of them. But I'd say Gylfi Sigurdsson's the one. Lucas Digne might actually play on the wing. He's the left back we signed from Barcelona. He's played 2 games and got 2 assists. He looks like a ready-made replacement for Leighton Baines at the moment. But I'd have to say Gylfi Sigurdsson with all the injuries we've got. But Ademola Lookman, he had a bit of a transfer saga. He wanted to go back to Germany. He's got a point to prove now because he's still at Everton. So he's got to sort of get on the pitch and show what he's got. St Tosun's not got a goal this season, but we all love Tosun. Well, I do, because he works his socks off. He's a danger man in the box. The players I'd be looking out for at West Ham, I hope Yarmolenko doesn't start, because like I said, I think he's a real top player. I seen him a few years ago put Everton out of the Europa League single-handedly. I think Wilshire's a really good player. Is Lanzini still there, or is he injured?
He's there, but he's injured, yeah.
Because he scored a few belters past Everton as well. I'd also be worried. I really hope that Andy Carroll's injured, because he always scores past Everton.
He is, mate. He's not going to be playing.
Thank God for that. But I'd be them, and obviously, you know, he used to be a winger, didn't he, Arnautovic? But now he's been up front, and you know, he on his day, he's a world beater. You know what I mean? He scores goals from anywhere, and you know, West Ham tonked us at the end. Obviously, he's remembered the last game of the season. They look good. To be honest, I was just wanted to ask your thoughts on David Moyes, because David Moyes gets a lot of stick these days, but people forget the job he did at Everton. He took over Everton when we were fighting relegation every season, stabilised us, got us into Europe, got us into like semi-finals and cup finals. He really changed the culture at Everton, because we really were struggling every year, and he did it with little to no money. What were your thoughts on letting Moyes go? Do you think he could have stayed, or do you think maybe he's just like a guy sort of like Sam Allardyce? He's good at sorting a club out at a certain level, but then that's it.
I think, sorry, look, I just really want to jump in this one.
No, yeah, go for it, yeah.
But we're in a kind of big group chat, and one of the guys make a really valid point, you know, and I'm not doing him an injustice. What he did at Everton was fantastic, but that was, he was there for 10 years, wasn't he, Paul? And he'd done that 11 years, and you know, the Premier League has changed even more so, a lot more since then. Then obviously he went to Manchester United, and that just didn't work out well, and there's been a few, he went all over the place and it all didn't work out well. When he came to West Ham, I just don't think he'd done himself any favours, in my opinion. He came to do a job, and he'd done that job. But there was last year was just toxic for West Ham, Paul, and maybe you've seen that looking in from an outsider's point of view, but all the way through the club.
I felt it with Allardyce, mate. I share your pain.
I think our problem was it was like fan battles. There was people running on the football park. It was just havoc all over. The owners, I mean, were unsafe, and they were unsafe, like anywhere they went. So when it came to Moyes, it was a underwhelming appointment. Underwhelming performances. We stayed up, which was the key factor, but West Ham's board literally did not have any other place to go rather than get rid of him and bring in someone of Pellegrini's stature and ability. Solely down to the fact, though, that they have made promises to West Ham fans. Therefore, they finally have pulled through with a promise by saying, we'll provide you with a manager 3 or 4 years later than they should have. So whatever manager had gone in there, unless he was really successful, probably was going to get let go, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that, Luke.
No, I agree to a point. I personally had nothing much against Moyes. I think I thank him for keeping us up and doing whatever. I kind of also think it's a little bit in spite of Moyes we stayed up as well. I wasn't totally, comfortable with some of the decisions he made, especially tactically and with players. Sort of like Hernandez, for example, was clearly not one of his favourites, but every time he's into play for us last season, he caused some damage to sides. He scored a goal here and there. I think for me, what it was with Moyes is the fact that like Anton said, we promised things from our board that we were going to try and challenge for top half of the table, try and challenge for Europe, all this and all that. And we moved from Upton Park to try and achieve those things. Now, under Moyes, it did seem like he was literally going to do an Allardyce, come in, do the job, and it was never... the club never sort of gave anything out saying, no, if he keeps us up and he does really well, he's staying on. It was always like, look, he's a temp manager. He's not going to be here for long. And he's kind of aware of that himself. That's why we didn't really go for the FA Cup when we had a chance to push on. That's why we didn't really, go for it against maybe Stoke at home when we should have won the game. We drew instead 1-1. There was just certain things about the appointment which I thought, well, this is just clearly a temp appointment. And for me, if he was going to do like what he did at Everton, which is eventually push you on to try and achieve better things, like get you into Champions League, push you here, push you there, it would have been too long to take him there, because we kind of in this thing now where we needed to spend the money. We needed to get up there. We can't just be lingering in mid-table all the time. We need to actually push on, because in this stadium, we need to start having to push. So when Pellegrini was being linked and when one of these players thought, Moyes was a distant memory. And right now, we shouldn't even be talking that Moyes like he's even an option to go back for. We should be like, yeah, cheers, Moyes, nice one, but see you later sort of thing. So that's what's so disappointing for me, that under Pellegrini, we should be nowhere near this position we are. And that's the only reason why we're now maybe even thinking, we shouldn't have got rid of Moyes. But really, in hindsight, we should have, because we should be going for better than that. By the way, just before I finish, the reason why I say that especially is because he got the job at Man United. He got found out, in my opinion. And then he went to Sunderland. And even though it's the poison chalice and whatever everyone said about it, it's still a team. There's still a team full of footballers there who, if you really worked hard at them, could maybe have kept Sunderland up, in my opinion. But yeah, for me, Moyes, thanks for doing the job, but it was like a cheers, see ya, bye.
Right.
Sort of thing.
I think this has come perfect timing now for our predictions for the game on Sunday. West Ham played 4, lost 4. Everton played 4, drew 3, 1-1, unbeaten. Go straight to you, Paul. Predictions for the game on Sunday.
I've said this actually in our own match preview. I'd love to say I want Everton. I'd love to say Everton are going to win, but I'm going to sit on the fence and I'm going for 1-1, because Everton keep conceding the same goal off corners, and like we've had a big debate on zonal marking. I don't like it. Zones don't score goals, players do. And hopefully when Yerry Mina's fit and there's a settled centre-half pairing, because it's the same goal every week. That's what's annoying us. And obviously the coaching staff are going to be onto it, but I'm going to go for 1-1.
I think just on that point there, the player you particularly mentioned there, Mina, I think is a great player, and I think it's a very good coup for Everton. So when he is fit and he is playing, I think it's going to be a great signing for you. But 1-0 from yourself, Paul. Over to you, Luke.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 3-1 Everton here, and I hate doing this. I hate predicting other teams getting it. I know I do, but I just can't. Like you said just now, with the team spirit and stuff, even with a half fit or whatever, not even half fit Everton team, they'll still do some damage. Like I said before, Bernard will probably score, Mina will probably score, because we're both linked with both the players. Walcott, knowing the fact that he's injury prone, probably would come back at the last minute and score a goal against us. But no, some other Everton player get from a free kick or a penalty would score, and then maybe a goal from Arnautovic. I don't know, take your pick, West Ham. Maybe Yarmolenko, like you said, actually Yarmolenko. So 3-1 Everton. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. Please be wrong, West Ham. Please do the reverse scoreline, win 3-1. Yarmolenko hat trick, and something like that. But yeah, 3-1 Everton. Me, sorry.
It should be me saying that. I know. It's weird, isn't it?
So bad.
One player I do want to just remind West Ham fans about, and it's Leighton Baines. He just seems to like a step up and likes a goal against West Ham. So he's one for us to watch. But I'm going to go for a positive. I'm going to stick with our positive theme, my positive theme, and a 3-2 victory to West Ham away from home. I think we're going to concede goals again, as usual. But I don't think it's going to be much of the defence's fault. I think it's probably going to be our midfield causing those problems. But going forward, I think we're going to be upbeat. We're going to take this international break for a positive, and it's going to be the players we want to start. Yarmolenko hopefully is going to start. I think for me personally, and I think Luke, you think I blow his trumpet a lot, but Paul, I didn't know a huge amount about him, to be brutally honest, and I really looked into him, and what he has provided on the park is a spark. And that's the spark that we need, whether or not he's got the finished product immediately. Right now, we just need something, and that is the spark that can add that to players like Arnautovic and Anderson as well. So for me, I'm just going to go for a 3-2 victory, and hopefully we do get it. And I know yourself, Paul, you'd want Everton to get the victory as well. So anyway, Paul, listen, thanks very much for coming on, mate. Before we leave, I'm just going to quickly remind you to hit the subscribe button, make sure you comment, make sure you hit the notification, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down. Get the comments in. We are of course partnered up with Umbro. There'll be another competition coming up in the next couple of weeks. The next home game, the Ribman of London, make sure you go there, mention Irons United, you get a bit of discount on Rib Roll. And we're also going to be filming our reviews at the Supporters Club, and fantastic news came out of the Supporters Club this week, so make sure you log into their accounts and join in and get a membership with them. Paul, we'll put all your description for your channel into our description below. Thank you very much, mate, and good luck for the rest of the season, and I hope you don't win on Sunday.
I know. Thanks for having us on, lads, and right back at you. Hope you have a good season. I said before the season that West Ham will have a good season. You'll turn this round, don't worry about that. Yeah, of course. Thanks for that, mate. That's one, Paulie. Yeah. Cheers, mate. He's been Luke, I've been Anton, he's been Paul. Come on, you Irons. Oh,